Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, and thank you, Chairwoman White, for being here. You've already indicated that the SEC would issue a rule on CEO pay median worker ratio in 2015. Thanks for that. I would like to simply submit this letter to the record without objection.
Without objection.
That we sent to you, and Mrs. White, you've received this letter, and it's the will of at least 58 members of this body, and perhaps even more than that. And again, I think it's relevant to a lot of people, not just the public at large, but investors. I think research shows that higher ratios correspond to more risky investments. So, something that I regard as important. I appreciate your attention to it. Also, I wish you would comment on a few other matters regarding the fiduciary rule. Conflicted investment advice costs investors more than $17 billion a year, and I'm very concerned that workers are sold IRAs with high fees and hidden commissions that damage their retirement security. And I'm supportive of the Department of Labor's decision to move forward with a rulemaking to protect workers. I was wondering if you could comment on why you chose this month to announce that the SEC was going to move forward with its own fiduciary standard.
Yeah, there's no connection to, but I understand the question, to the Department of Labor's announcement. This has been something that, as I mentioned earlier, I've been very focused on since before my confirmation. I think it's an enormously important area. I think the Department of Labor is addressing a very important area. Their ERISA mandate over retirement accounts with what they're doing. We're separate agencies. The SEC has been also studying this before I arrived. Obviously, there have been studies that have been and reports that have been presented. I've spent an enormous amount of time with our staff dealing with really what are quite complex issues in order to be able to forward this. I think it's important to forward it. We're really in a sense, at the beginning of our process, but I do think we should, as a separate agency, proceed with rulemaking.
Yeah, I noted that. I think you made your announcement at the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association, which, as is its right, certainly its right to spend more than $7 million lobbying Congress, in part to kill a rule that protects hard-earned retirement savings for workers, and that's where you made the comments that you made.
Well, I mean, this is. I said what my position was when I knew what my position was. I think I had indicated at a prior conference at the end of the year. I don't know if it was there or at a different conference, that I expected to be able to at least state my own personal position, which is all that I've stated. Last year, and so in that particular audience, which has representatives of the investment advisor space as well as the broker-dealer space, both. Yeah. I thought it was quite an appropriate place to, since I was ready to say what my personal position was, and people kept asking me, for several months, that it was quite appropriate to make that statement there.
Is there any coordination with the DOL rulemaking process, or are you just kind of going forward on your own?
We've provided, and really since their initial proposal, and obviously long before I got to the SEC, I think their initial proposals in 2010, the SEC staff has provided technical assistance and expertise to the Department of Labor in terms of how this market space works, in terms of our registrants, what potential impacts we see on investors and the availability of investor advice if the rule changes are made. I would expect us, as we go forward, to continue to consult, which I think is very important.
Do you think it makes any difference whether DOL goes first or your agency goes first?
I think we're separate agencies, and we need to proceed separately when we think the time is right and we have something we think we should be advancing. So
that'd be like a yes. You do think? I mean, I guess you're saying that you should separate.
There's no reason that there's no reason that
coordinate.
No, I'm sorry. There's no reason to coordinate. No, I'm saying we're separate agencies, right. And therefore I think each agency has to decide when to go forward. Clearly, you take cognizance of whatever other regulators do all the time in rulemakings if they go first. We have a similar situation with our Title VII rulemakings where the CFTC, for the most part, has gone first, as we've heard alluded to.
I'll have to follow up in writing because I'm out of time, but thank you for your answers.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The chair